Great.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to the Overcome Yourself podcast. As you know, my name is Nicole, and I'm so excited to be here today with Julie. So, Julie, kick it off. Give us a quick intro. Let us know who you are and what you do.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me, Nicole. What a pleasure. I've been looking forward to our conversation. I'm Julie Delucca Collins. I am the founder and CEO of Go Confidently Services. I am also a podcaster. Casa de Confidence is my podcast. I am an author and speaker, but most importantly, what I love, 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 love to do is I am a business and life strategy coach. I am certified as a tiny habits coach, and I use that framework to help my clients double their income, create the consistent habits that help them create the life and business they love and become the CEO of their life and business mainly.
I love that. And one of the main themes of my book is those tiny habits, those baby steps that we learn to
Mhm.
take that end up
Yeah.
it's compound interest, right? And we
Hmm.
look up and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, look how much I've got done just by implementing these tiny habits. It's how I taught myself to drink more water during the day. It's how I'm working on posting more,
Yeah.
everything that I do is what is the tiniest, simplest step that I can implement
Yeah.
consistently to get this thing going. I love it. And I'm so
Yeah.
excited to have
So
you.
good.
Well, yeah. So talk to me a little bit more about tiny habits.
Yeah, one of the things that, like most of us, I had read all of the books out there when it came to habits. I had read Atomic Habits, The Power of Habit, and I just thought, this is really good. And when I got into the thick of things, I wasn't very successful. I'm like,
Mhm,
why
mhm.
can't I stick to 66 days? Or I would find myself Googling, how can I be more motivated? And then all of a sudden, I met BJ Fogg, Dr. BJ Fogg, who wrote Tiny Habits. He is a research scientist at Stanford University. He studies behavior design. So, unlike James Clear, which, by the way, he wrote an excellent book,
Mhm,
James Clear is a great marketer, and he is mostly someone that doesn't have, he took everybody's research and put this book
mhm,
together. But the one thing that sets Tiny Habits apart is that it's really based on brain science research. And what happens is, and what Dr. Fogg found is that in order for a behavior to happen, right, we need to have three things: the motivation, the ability, and a prompt to do the three things. So if one of those is missing, it becomes very difficult. But the one thing that we can count on is that if something is very hard, motivation eventually leaves us.
mhm.
And we cannot rely on motivation to actually create the new behavior. So we have to rely on the ability and the prompt. And this is what Tiny Habit does, is that you create something so tiny, the new behavior you created in such a tiny, small way, and then you pair it up with an existing behavior that you have already. So for
Mhm.
instance, you talked about drinking more water. That's one of my tiny habits. And
Yep.
I will tell you one of the things that I do is I found the time in my day that I actually have an existing behavior. I let my dogs out in the morning, every morning. They have to go outside without fail. Otherwise, I'd have problems in my house, right?
Yes.
So as I come downstairs to let them out, when I let them out, then I fill my water bottle with water. And here is the secret sauce of tiny habits. We celebrate because our brain changes when we feel good.
Mhm.
So when we celebrate, we're like, "Woohoo! I filled my water bottle." Most people would be like, "Well, Julie, but you're not drinking water." But that my water bottle, I am never unsuccessful at my habit of water because my water bottle is always, I set myself up for success because it's already full. Now, when I come to my desk, I sit at my desk and I chug some water and then I celebrate, right? And then what happens? Then I have to go to the bathroom at some point in my life, right? And when I go to the bathroom, I refill my water bottle. So those are my prompts to continue to do my habit throughout the day. And that's the one thing that happens with tiny habits then, that you create the momentum for yourself by finding the times in the space in which there's already a prompt and existing behavior and you pair it up with your desired behavior, but you make it so tiny so tiny that it's like, oh, it's silly not to fill my water bottle. I'm standing right here, right?
Mhm.
Oh, it's the water bottle's in front of me. It's silly not to drink it. So when you're doing that, you're always successful and you're creating that new neural pathways in your brain that for the new habits take hold and you're not relying on motivation. By the way, in the times that you drink, you look at that water and it's full and I fill my water bottle and I just don't feel like drinking it. I'm still successful. I'm
Mhm.
still successful. And those are the things that really help us to continue. And I use that with my clients to create the behaviors they want so they can build the business they want, create the income they desire. Because, by the way, most of us want to make a living, but do you want to make $100 or do you want to make $5,000 a month? And it's going to take a lot of behavior design for you to be able to create the actions. And I love to say that consistent action gets you traction. And that's one of the things that I
Love
help
it.
my clients do in their business.
I love that. I love that. I actually have a chapter in my book that's called Motivation is a Lie.
Oh, so
And
good.
right. So I got
Yeah,
so excited when you started saying that because we misunderstand motivation. We think
yeah.
motivation is going to hit us out of nowhere.
It
Inspiration,
doesn't.
that a light
Yep.
bulb goes off and you
Oh,
have a
for sure.
great idea, but
Yeah.
the motivation is like kinetic energy and it requires a catalyst. This is, I'm
Yeah.
quoting myself here. And that
Ooh, I love
catalyst
that.
is taking action. And it's
Mm,
when we start taking action, and it's kind of like a paradox, but it's when we start taking those little actions, and then that's the
mhm.
other is when we start celebrating, writing down our accomplishments, or
Yeah.
even in the moment just being like, good
Woohoo.
job,
You're going
to
to laugh, Nicole. No, you're ready
tell me,
for it?
tell me.
This is how I celebrate my clients.
Oh, yay! I have
See,
pom
you
poms. I
got
gotta
it. You
take them
got it,
out.
right? Like, did that not make you feel good? I celebrated you. And it's like, oh, okay. I got a pep in my step.
Yes, I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Then you said something else. Let me think back because I got distracted.
No, you're all good.
Um,
I distracted you with pom poms.
I get so excited, right? Okay, we'll come back to it. So tell me a little bit about your journey and overcoming yourself, because that is the title of my book. Do you feel like you had
Yeah.
to overcome yourself in this journey, and how?
I am still in the process of overcoming
Hmm.
myself
Hmm.
because, like most humans, I am a layered person. And there was a time in my life in which I'm like, oh, only if I get here, I have it all together. And then I got there and it's like, oh, I don't have it all together. So it's a process. I am a work in progress. And that's the beauty of it, right? Because I actually did a TikTok about this today that the skills that we got to overcome yesterday's problems are not the same skills that we need to overcome today's challenges. And for many of us, I have overcome a lot. Oh my gosh. I think of the person that I was in my 20s. If I could speak to that girl and say, sweetie, you can believe in yourself. You don't have to have the approval of others. You don't need to pretend that you're something you're not. And I've overcome a lot of that. But that doesn't mean that I don't have imposter syndrome. That doesn't mean that I don't question and second guess myself in the process of things. That's the human brain. That's our humanity. And our ability to keep going is how we continue to overcome and really dig a little deeper. You know, for instance, in the past year, and I've been really open and honest about this. If you had asked me, I don't know, 20 years ago, have you suffered trauma? I would have said, oh, no, 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 not me. I've been fortunate in my life. No trauma for me. I'm not a victim. But Nicole, I have trauma. And trauma has been one of these things that I didn't realize what it was. I didn't understand. And in the past year, I've been doing a lot of that work. I've been really, one, acknowledging that it's there. Number two, holding space for the difficult emotions that sometimes in past terms and in a past area of my life, maybe I just ignored it. I pushed through. I tried to achieve the next thing and forget I was feeling all that stuff. But really acknowledging some of that and knowing that it's there, and then, making friend with discomfort
Mhm.
right? And understanding that that's part of the process has been one of the biggest things that I've done. So I am a work in progress because with new levels, there's new devils, right?
Yes, yes. And with every new level, we encounter a different, because imposter syndrome shows up
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. It's not like a
absolutely.
thing that happens, it's like an umbrella term
Hmm.
for all of these things that we
Yeah.
feel. And so with each level that we get to, there's like a whole new like layer of
A
the onion
new
comes
layer.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even
Absolutely.
know I needed this. What referencing back to what you said before, what you were mentioning is what I call it is making trust deposits. And it starts with
So
you.
good.
So doing those like drinking your water, and every time that you do that, every time you fill up your cup, I didn't even celebrate filling up my cup. So I am
Yeah.
glad that you've given me that new
Yeah.
perspective.
Celebrate, girl. Yeah.
Yes, writing down, getting 10,000 steps a day, or as
Hmm.
much as I can. And if I don't, having grace on myself and be like, you know what, it's
Hmm.
okay. You were really busy, whatever. And then tomorrow. And one of my other success habits, um, that, really helped me like get out of depression, anxiety. I
Hmm.
needed vitamins, go to your doctors. I'm not
Hmm.
saying that you don't need doctors.
Yeah.
If you need to talk to someone, please do. Because one of the things was a vitamin deficiency. But one of the things that I was able to do that helped me get to that, and I call, my success habits, my tiny habits, I call them my
Hmm.
success habits,
Yep.
is writing down gratitude. Three things I'm grateful for
So good.
every day. Tell me
Hmm.
what you think about that. I'm
You
sure
know,
you tell your clients that too, right?
I do, and I actually I use a gratitude journal. I've been using that for a long time, and I go through phases in which I will write the 10 things that I'm grateful for. Sometimes I just do three, and sometimes I do none.
Mhm.
And sometimes I go and I actually have a jar of gratitude. And on the days in which I just have to take a deep breath, Nicole, and say, wow, this is a tough day, you know? I am having a difficult time, then I will go to my jar of gratitude and I will pull something from that. And I will be reminded of that moment. Maybe I was just grateful for the birds that were eating the bird seed I bought outside. Or maybe I was grateful because I had an opportunity to speak to a family member that I don't speak to often, whatever it might be, you know um those things. And I try to really get into that moment and remember what that felt like, ooh, that the wonder of seeing my niece for the first time, or the conversation I had with my nephew. Those are the little things, that pull us along. And gratitude really changes your brain. It increases happiness. And for many of us, we take for granted the things that we have. I've been so fortunate in my life that I've done so many different things and I travel around the world. One of the most impactful trips that I've done, though, is going to Haiti. I served in a mission in Haiti. I've gone for a couple of years, and being able to come back to my home, and think, huh, I am so grateful, I have a home that has indoor plumbing. I have a home that has heat. These are the gratitude moments that can remind us, because we're always comparing and despairing, right? We're always seeing the Instagrammable moments that somebody else's has, and then we walked into our kitchen and there's dishes in the sink, and like, oh my God, my house is not like that lady on Instagram that I follow. But in the scheme of things, thank God my husband has shoes that he can leave around. And thank God I have a wonderful husband that's supportive, right? That gratitude and finding the gift in every moment is the thing that we need to work towards.
I love that so much. Learning to be even grateful for the things that kind of aren't what we usually think of. Like I read this article once of this lady who would always get mad at her husband because he would
Mhm.
leave his clothes on the floor, but then he passed away. And
Yeah.
she was like, I would give
We
anything
read the
to
same article.
see, yes, to see those clothes. I'm like bawling and I'm like, it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
When you look
It's
at
true.
that, do you see a mess or do you see life being lit? Because he was so busy trying to get to his
Mm.
kids that he just threw off his
Yeah.
clothes to go
Yeah.
play with them. And
Absolutely.
so, gratitude, you said, changes our
Hmm.
brains and it even changes our perception, the way we see things, it
Absolutely.
changes those glasses.
Yeah.
Um, And then you also mentioned going through those uncomfortable moments, and
Mhm.
I've really learned that that's where the magic happens. And that's where we
Oh.
got to bring in that gratitude to adjust the
Mhm.
perception and the habits. It kind of all comes
And
together, right?
yeah, that's exactly the type of work that I love. And by the way, people are like, "Oh, you coach women, yeah, in business. You teach them how to run their business." Sure, you could say that. But what I really work on are these components that we're talking about,
Mhm.
is knowing that compounding effect of a 1% better every day.
Yes.
Because by the way, none of us show up knowing business 100%. None of
Yep.
us have it all together.
Yeah, we
None of
made it
us,
up.
yeah, we made it up. We figure it out as we go along, as long as we give ourselves the opportunity to have a tomorrow to learn. But a lot of people end up, when it gets hard, giving up and not
Mhm.
going the extra step, because sometimes it's not about going the extra mile. Sometimes you
Yep.
just don't have it in you, but take that next step. That's what it matters.
Yes, yes, yes. And in those moments, that's really what it is. You take that step.
Hmm.
With ADHD, sometimes we have executive functions,
Yeah,
and then the dishes do pile up, and it's doing grabbing one dish. Just, you don't have to do it all at the time, just
absolutely.
one at a time. And what you mentioned about gratitude, my family's Cuban. My mom's side of my mom's family, I guess, on my mom's side
Yep,
is
yep.
Cuban, and so yes, we have so many. I remember growing up and my grandparents explaining to me,
Hmm.
like, we didn't have this growing up. We
Yeah.
even right now, if you look at the pictures, there's cars from the 1950s. And so there is like this special place in my
Hmm.
heart for just feeling gratitude for the things that even a lot of people
Yeah.
that you don't even notice sometimes, and so I just
Absolutely.
wanted to mention it. It's
It
a whole
becomes
different
that
world.
it becomes the white noise of life.
Hmm.
It's we're so we take it for granted that we're gonna come in, turn the switch, and there's electricity. Oh,
Hmm.
hello.
Yes,
Right?
even filling up our water bottles in the morning, like
Yeah.
just being grateful that we have the power to do that. We just turn on the faucet, we get some water, and then we go about our days. There's places that don't even have water. So even
Yeah.
just bringing that in and being like, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for my AC. I live in Miami, so I'm
Hey, by
constantly
the
like,
way,
I'm
I
grateful for
grew up in
you.
Miami. I went to high school in
Yes.
Miami. Yeah, I
Oh,
went
which
to
high
Palmetto.
school?
I
Oh,
went to
okay,
Miami
down
Palmetto.
south. Yes.
Yeah. Where are
I
you in
went
Miami?
to well, I live close to the hospitals now, to UM.
Uh-huh.
But
Yep.
I went to
Okay,
Southwest
my
High.
first husband graduated from Southwest, but he is
Yes.
much older than you because he's much older than me. But I know the area. My his parents, who I loved, they used to live near Coral Way in the 87th in Galloway. So just
Oh my gosh, yeah, Westchester, like right
I
there,
know
the fair,
Westchester. Oh my God,
tropical park, Santa's Enchanted
girl,
Forest.
I'm in. My sister still lives in Miami, but she's down. She's much further south now. She's in Country Walk.
Oh, okay, that's so nice down there. Yeah, I've got family down there. But I like
Yeah.
going all the way south, going down to the Keys. That's
Oh,
one of the
that's
things
my
I
jam.
love
That's
about
my
living down
jam.
here. Where are you now then, if you're not down
I
here?
am so my dad is from New York and I went to school in DC and then I moved to New York because I always knew New York was more my speed than Miami. Although, I appreciate Miami a heck of a lot more now, especially in the winter. But I'm
Yes.
in Connecticut. I my after I married my now husband, after my practice spouse. I my husband is from Connecticut and I was able to commute into New York City for many years and lived in Connecticut. But I will tell you, I these this today is the kind of day I was just outside with my dogs and I was delighted and felt immense gratitude because I started to see the buds and the trees and
Yes.
the weather is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous spring day and these are the things that I just love. So I'm
I want to
definitely a New
say
Englander.
yes. Oh my goodness. No, I lived in Georgia for a few years and like it got to like 18 degrees and I was like, I'm out of here. So I can't even imagine further north. No,
Oh, yeah,
thank you.
we've had our moments. I mean, don't get me started about the ones that are -8.
Oh,
outside.
no, 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 no.
No, I
Now,
have a little heater here going on.
oh, good, good. Yeah, no, I could not survive up there.
Yeah, I
Now,
know you Miami girls. My sister will be wearing her coat in 60-degree weather, so
it was, we had a cold front, and this morning it was in the 60s.
yep.
Yes, and that's a cold front, everyone's
Yeah,
freaking
she was dropping off my knees and is putting her hat on. I'm like, "What's wrong with you? This is flip-flop weather."
out. Oh my gosh. So, our great grandmas are rolling up. My great grandma would be rolling over in her
Yeah.
grave, knowing I would go outside without a sweater.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Julie, how can we follow you? Do you have like a
Yeah.
gift for our audience? Am
I
I really?
do. Ooh, of
Oh,
course.
okay,
What
talk
kind
to me.
of what kind of visitor would I be without bringing something? Okay,
Yay.
I'm going to tell you.
Uh-huh.
Number one is people can find me. I'm going to make it easy. Julie Delucca Collins on all the platforms.
Awesome. And those links will be down in the
Yep.
show notes or in the comments.
Absolutely. And then if people want to check out my podcast, because a lot of these types of conversations are the things that we talk about, go to Casa de Confidence
Love
and
it.
you can check me out. And also, I have incredible conversations with incredible guests. Nicole, you got to come on the show.
Would love
And
to.
we
Yes,
got to
thank
talk
you.
about the summit and everything that you've been doing because I'm such a fan.
Thank you.
And the other place that people can find me is in the free gift because I know go to goconfidentlycoaching.com/quick links. And for those of you who want to learn tiny habits, you can get 5 days coaching from me on tiny habits for free. And this is a free 5 day coaching that we do with the Tiny Habits Academy, but I would love to be able to walk you through that. There's a couple different other things in there, but I know that if you wanted to start tiny habits to improve the things that you're doing, to be that overcomer and really grow in your personal development journey, and habits is a great way to start. So make sure that you go and you click on the link.
Yes, I love it. Habits is how I started. It starts everything. Go grab. I'm gonna go check out all of those resources. I
Yeah.
encourage you to do that and follow Julie as well. Like I said, she's in the summit. So if you bought the VIP replays, they are still available for you. And if
Ooh.
I'm gonna throw that link in the comments as well, so you can grab the VIP replay and you can get all the replays of the summit. So thank you
Ooh.
so much for being here with us, Julie. This has been amazing. Any final tips before we sign off here? One last thing you
You
want to
know,
leave us
one of
with?
the biggest things that I'm going to say
Mhm.
is, and this is something that applies to so many different areas of your life, is find your people. We as humans are created to be in community. We are created to not be lonely because, by the way, loneliness causes early death. It's been proven. There's a study on
Wow.
it.
Wow.
So find your people because if you are hanging out with the people who maybe don't get it, don't understand, don't want to get new habits, don't want to build you up, find the people that do because they're out
Yes.
there. And like this part of the summit, go get the VIP. So then when you're down in the dumps or you're unmotivated because motivation will leave you,
Yep.
you can come back and get motivated with some of the incredible speakers in the summit, with some of the content that Nicole and everyone is sharing here. So make sure that you do that. That's my final tip is find your people.
I love it. That is amazing. And you know what? I've been thinking about it. This is a piece of content I've been working on about how a few years ago, when I was in the midst of, the depression, the anxiety,
Mhm.
I was praying and I was like, I want to raise my vibrations and I want to attract people to myself that are amazing. And you know what? I was realizing I think I've accomplished that goal because like
Mhm.
Julie, you came to me through Brooke. And so like the universe brought you to me and that has
Yeah.
come from the work that I've put in. And so you
Mm,
definitely raise those vibrations. You can change your circles, you can make new
yeah,
friends. The power of social media is just amazing. So I love that
it
is
is.
such a wonderful tip. And then it's just I love how in alignment we are. Like everything you're saying, I'm
Love
like,
it.
oh my God, this is
Yeah.
it.
You're asking me questions. I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl is totally my alley.
Oh, thank
So
you, thank you, thank
no, we
you.
we 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 attract what we want. We just have to, it's the power of manifesting. And for the people that think like, oh, that's so woo, it's not. It's brain science. Go look it up or ask me. Go DM me on Instagram and say, what do you mean manifestation is not woo and it's science? Let's talk about it. Let's get these conversations going because
We're
the
gonna have
more
to
that we share,
record
the more that we learn.
a whole podcast episode about that. So I'm gonna have to invite you back so we can do a deep dive into that.
I love that. I would love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so, so much for being here with us, Julie.
You're
And
welcome.
we will see you next time.
Until later, go confidently, everybody.
Yes.